The Midnight Visitor. Every night at exactly midnight, the door to Emily's bedroom creaked open. She lived alone in the old house, nestled deep in the countryside, miles away from the nearest neighbor. The first time it happened, she dismissed it as a draft of the house settling. But when it continued every night without fail, she couldn't ignore it any longer. The door would slowly, painfully, creak open, just wide enough to let the darkness of the hallway seep in. Each time, Emily would sit up in bed, her heart pounding in her chest, staring into the abyss beyond the doorway. But nothing ever came through. The darkness was absolute, swallowing her attempts to pierce it with her flashlight. One night, determined to put an end to her fear, Emily decided to stay awake and confront whatever it was. Midnight approached, and she felt her heartbeat quicken, her palms growing slick with sweat. As the clock struck 12, the door began its familiar creak, inching open. But this time something was different. A soft, shuffling sound accompanied the creak. Emily's breath caught in her throat. She strained her eyes, trying to see what lurked in the hallway, but the darkness was impenetrable. The shuffling grew closer, slow and deliberate, like someone or something dragging their feet across the floor. Then she saw it. A pale, skeletal hand emerged from the darkness, gripping the edge of the door. Emily's blood ran cold as a figure slowly stepped into the room, its body tall and gaunt, covered in tattered clothing that seemed to cling to its bones. The figure's head was bowed, its face obscured by a curtain of matted black hair. Emily couldn't move, couldn't scream as the figure slowly lifted its head. Empty, hollow eye sockets stared back at her, and a mouth stretched into an unnatural grin, revealing rows of jagged teeth. It took a step closer. Emily finally found her voice, letting out a scream that echoed through the house. She scrambled out of bed, throwing herself toward the door. But as she reached for the handle, the figure was suddenly behind her, its cold breath on the back of her neck. She never made it out of the room,